Welcome to the Deconstructionist Deep Dive.
The show that doesn't just accept the story.
We break it
We examine the pieces.
and expose the machinery inside. Let's dive in. So today we're tackling something huge, really pervasive in modern self-help.
This idea that getting wealthy, manifesting it, is mostly about mindset.
Right. Mindset, identity shifts, getting your vibration right, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And specifically, we're looking at models like the one Jen Sincero popularized. Very successful model.
Our mission here is to give you the tools, the critical lens.
Yeah, to see past the motivational talk, the feel-good stuff.
And actually analyze the structure. Does this philosophy hold up, or is it built on shaky ground?
It's crucial because for so many people, this isn't just like a nice idea. It's how they're trying to run their financial lives.
It's their operating system.
Pretty much. So we need to get why it's so appealing, why the success story grabs people.
But more importantly, we need to be ruthless. Logically ruthless.
What does it miss? What does it force you, the practitioner, to ignore?
And where do its own rules contradict each other? Where are the traps?
Okay, let's start with the core idea, the absolute foundation.
You have to fundamentally change how you even think about money. That's step one.
Right. In this model, money isn't? Well, it's not material. Not really. The cash in your wallet, the number in your bank account.
That's just the echo, the physical manifestation after the fact.
The source material defines money as energetic currency, pure energy.
Yes. Money is currency, and currency is energy. That's the line. You have to buy into that completely.
And if you accept that premise,
then your financial reality, whether you're rich or broke, isn't about economics or hard work in the usual sense.
it's about your vibrational alignment, getting on the abundance frequency.
It sets up this very neat linear path, like an equation.
First, your thoughts. They create your feelings.
Those feelings determine your frequency, your energy signal, basically.
And then, only then, do you get the financial manifestation.
So the outside world, your bank balance, it's just mirroring your internal state instantly. It's clean, simple, maybe too simple.
Well, that's the potential weakness, isn't it? It forces you to focus entirely inward, 100%.
So the big question we're asking is this a real economic model? Does it actually help you navigate the actual global economy?
Or is it just a motivational tool? Something that feels good, but ultimately puts all the responsibility and blame on your internal state, your vibration.
Does it let the actual systems off the hook?
That's what we need to unpack.
Yeah.
But before we get too analytical,
We have to acknowledge why it's so powerful. Why does it resonate?
it's anchored in a really compelling transformation story. That's the hook.
The credibility piece makes it relatable.
Absolutely. Take the author's own story. She frames it as this radical shift.
From broke rock and roller before 40.
Right. Struggling, couldn't afford things, then boom. Post 40, she's the wealth conscious coach.
Scarcity to sovereignty, it's a classic narrative arc. Very appealing.
And there's a specific moment, a catalyst, that's designed to prove the whole energy principle.
The big commitment.
Yes. She's deep in debt, right? And what does she do?
Hires a coach for $15,000.
15 grand. While in debt. Now, any conventional financial advice would scream no.
It sounds completely reckless.
And see, in this framework, it's the opposite of reckless. It's proof.
Proof of commitment to the universe, or
To the universe, to herself, to the energy of abundance. It's like putting down an energetic deposit, saying, I'm serious.
okay, but hang on. Isn't that potentially the sunk cost fallacy in action?
Also,
You spend this huge amount, you're so invested emotionally and financially, your brain has to make it work. You have to justify that spend. How is this different?
because the framing is purely energetic. In the
Sure.
normal world, yeah, maybe it looks like a sunk cost trap. But in the vibrational world, it's positioned as a necessary high-stakes signal. You have to show you believe.
And the narrative provides the proof it worked.
Exactly. The story goes. She tripled her income within 3 months of that $15K commitment.
That's the data point, the supposed evidence that the frequency shifted and the money followed.
That's the linchpin of the transformation story.
And it's not just about money, is it? It's framed as a total identity shift.
Complete reversal.
Yeah.
Moving away from that limiting phrase
I can't afford it.
to the mantra, the declaration, money flows to me easily and freely.
That's a powerful psychological switch, sets the stage for everything else.
It really does. And to keep that switch flipped, the framework gives you these pillars, structural components.
5 of them, right, to build and maintain this this manifestation machine.
Exactly. Pillar 1 is all about linguistic creation, the power of your words.
It taps into something deep, doesn't it? This idea that what you speak, you want to prove because you want to be right.
Oh, absolutely. Cognitive consistency. We hate being wrong, even about ourselves.
So if you keep saying, I'm wealthy, I'm successful.
Your subconscious gets to work looking for evidence, nudging your behavior to match the statement. It's like targeted self-hypnosis almost.
Which is why changing your mantras isn't just like positive thinking, it's seen as foundational.
You're literally trying to build your new reality with words. Replacing "I'm broke" with "money flows to me" is like laying the bricks, sentence by sentence.
Okay, so words are the foundation. What's pillar 2?
If words build the new house, pillar 2 is about demolishing the old one. It's identity requisition.
Meaning.
You have to kill off the old you, the broke you, the financially scared you. That identity has to go for the new wealthy one to move in.
Wow. Kill off. That sounds intense.
It is. It's framed as a necessary death and rebirth. But this psychological break, it comes with a cost.
The social cost.
And the framework expects it, accepts it, even frames it as positive.
So losing friends, straining family relationships, that's not a bug, it's a feature.
Pretty much. The idea is your old circle might be stuck in that familiarity zone of struggle. When you change, when you vibrate higher.
You disrupt the reality.
That's the narrative. They can't handle your growth. Their reality gets screwed up because you're succeeding.
That sounds convenient. A way to justify ditching people who might be critical.
It's definitely an efficient way to insulate yourself and double down on the new identity. It says your growth matters more than those old connections.
Ruthless.
Okay, ruthlessly rebuilding identity. How do you know if you're actually doing it right? How do you track progress in this energetic world?
That brings us to pillar 3, fear navigation. Using fear as your compass.
And there's a specific term for the feeling you're looking for.
Yeah, proprietary one. Tearsitement.
Tearsitement.
Terror and excitement.
Exactly. That specific volatile mix, sheer terror blended with intense excitement. That's the signal.
The signal for what?
That you're right at the edge of your comfort zone, pushing the boundary, expanding your capacity to receive.
So feeling comfortable is bad means you're stagnating.
In this model, yes. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Tearsitement is the sign you're doing it right.
And this leads to a specific practice.
Do something that scares you every single solitary day.
Now this is interesting, because we start by saying the framework is purely vibrational, right? All energy and frequency. But this pillar demands action. Concrete, daily, scary action.
Yes. And that's a key tension. The doing is framed as necessary to prove the vibration is real.
So thinking about starting a scary business gives you tearsitement.
The model says embrace the feeling and go file the paperwork. Now, even if you're terrified.
The action is positioned as just a side effect of the alignment, but it's still required, non-negotiable.
Makes you wonder which is really driving which, doesn't it? The feeling or the forced action?
Okay, pillar 4. Maintaining the flow. Energetic flow maintenance.
This one revolves around generosity, but it's kind of a paradox.
The paradox of generosity, how does that work?
The core principle.
Yeah.
You have to be generous to keep abundance circulating. Giving is mandatory.
Why?
Because when you pinch yourself off from giving, you're scared it's not going to come in anymore. Hoarding signals scarcity, lack.
So giving, even when it feels tight, is proof. To the universe or to yourself?
Both, according to the model. It proves you're operating from sufficiency, not lack. It overrides the fear.
Okay, that makes a certain kind of psychological sense.
Here comes the scalpel.
Here it comes. Because the architect of this whole thing, while preaching radical generosity,
admits to being personally very frugal. Cheap with myself, is the quote.
Yeah, like stories of avoiding paying parking meters even after achieving significant wealth.
That's a huge disconnect, right? If abundance is just energy flowing freely, why is that old scarcity behavior being cheap still showing up years later, after the supposed alignment?
It doesn't compute. If the energy rules are universal, they should apply most strongly to the person who figured them out.
But if the founder is still fighting basic scarcity conditioning,
it makes you question whether the energetic flow is the real mechanism, or if it's just a motivational story layered on top of old money hangups.
Exactly. Is the vibration driving, or is the psychology still running the show?
Okay, final pillar. Pillar 5.
The spiritual gym. Love this analogy.
Mindset maintenance isn't a one-and-done deal.
Nope. It's like physical fitness. You don't get fit going to the gym once. It requires daily, non-negotiable practice.
What does the workout involve?
Standard stuff, mostly. meditation, reciting mantras, visualization.
But there's a kicker, a crucial, maybe dangerous component.
Selective media consumption. You have to actively, aggressively filter out anything that contradicts your high vibration state. Negativity, criticism, bad news.
Filter out reality, essentially.
That's the function, yes. It protects the belief system, market crash on the news, systemic injustice report.
Label it low vibration input and tune it out.
Exactly. Prevent any external data from challenging the core premise that your reality is only about your internal state.
Build the echo chamber.
Build the energetic bubble. Okay, so we see the pillars, how the machine is supposed to work.
Now let's probe the weaknesses. Where does the structure start to crack under pressure?
Where does the system contradict itself? Where are the traps for you, the user?
First big one, the burial alive paradox.
This one is fascinating psychologically. The whole framework is about limitless flow, infinite abundance.
Right. Money is just energy, like sunshine. More is always better.
Yet, the architect admits to this deep fear that money coming too fast and too much might literally bury me alive.
Wait, how can positive energy bury you? That doesn't make sense within the model's own rules.
It doesn't. Buried alive sounds like suffocation, danger, overwhelm. That's a massive counter vibration. It's resistance to the flow.
It suggests that deep down, wealth isn't seen as just abstract energy. It's still seen as this heavy material thing, a burden.
Exactly. And that fear creates an internal energetic ceiling. It directly contradicts the limitless flow idea.
And the evidence for this contradiction isn't just the fear itself, but what happened after the supposed breakthrough.
The post-breakthrough financial management anxiety. That's key.
The admission. I'm not good at being rich.
Think about that. Manifesting is supposedly done, alignment achieved, but then anxiety about handling the results.
Which led to that pretty stunning oversight.
$1 million. Sitting in a checking account, doing nothing, uninvested, no plan.
Wow.
The consciousness might have shifted. I deserve this, but the competence wasn't there at all.
Proving that vibration alone doesn't magically grant you financial literacy or management skills.
Not even close. Consciousness got her the money. Lack of competence made her anxious about it.
And that anxiety, that lack of competence, leads right into the next vulnerability.
The Coach Dependency Loop. This is a big one.
The tension here is between the promise of sovereignty, you create your reality, and the reality of needing constant outside help.
It's beautifully ironic. The pitch is basically, you need coaching to realize you don't need coaching.
But the actual path shown isn't toward self-reliance, it's toward more coaching.
Escalating coaching. The solution offered for the I'm not good at being rich problem wasn't learn about finance. It was hire more expensive coaches.
Ultimately reaching, what was it, $100,000 a year for coaching?
$100,000 a year to maintain the alignment she supposedly achieved years ago.
If the system works, if you truly become sovereign, shouldn't the need for that level of external validation just fade away?
Logically, yes. But instead, the model seems to build in this perpetual need. It's a fantastic business model for the coach, maybe not so great for the student's independence.
It institutionalizes the very dependency it claims to cure. If the machine works, why the constant pricey tune-ups from the inventor?
Good question. Now let's pull back the camera. Wider lens time. The systemic omissions.
What does the framework just completely ignore?
The elephant in the room. Structural inequality.
So things like
Systemic disadvantage. Generational poverty, racism, sexism, lack of access to education or capital. All the real-world barriers.
Where do they fit in this model?
They don't. They're invisible. The focus is 100% on your internal frequency, your mindset, your personal responsibility.
So if you're poor, if you're struggling against huge systemic odds,
The implication is, well, your vibration must be off, or you're not committed enough.
that sounds like blaming the victim on a massive scale.
It's an elegant way to explain away systemic failure, perhaps.
Yeah.
Puts all the onus on the individual. It offers zero tools for dealing with the actual structures of wealth and power.
And this ties into another gap, right? The literacy gap.
Absolutely. The economic literacy gap. And this isn't just an omission, it's almost proudly stated.
The architect's own words. I find investing boring and confusing and out of my league.
Think about that. The person teaching you financial consciousness finds actual finance boring and confusing.
That's concerning for you, the learner. You're taught how to feel worthy of money.
But you're implicitly discouraged from understanding how money works, how finance works, how investing works. It's out of my league.
So what happens when you manifest the money? Who manages it?
Well, the architect hired grown-ups, who know what they're doing. Delegated it.
But most people can't just hire expensive experts immediately. This creates a huge knowledge vacuum.
A dangerous one. You do all the mindset work, manifest the cash, and then you have no idea what to do with it because understanding was framed as boring.
Consciousness without competence leads to delegation, and delegation means losing control.
Precisely. And one more blind spot to mention.
The gender blind spot.
The framework does identify a real issue.
Mm.
The programming that equates a successful woman with being unfeminine. A major block for many.
Okay, that's valid.
But the limitation is how it's treated. It's seen purely as a personal psychological block, something to fix with mindset.
Instead of
also analyzing it as part of a wider structural patriarchal inheritance. Society often penalizes successful women economically, socially. It's not just in their heads.
And the proof that it's structural, not just personal vibration.
Look at the author's own ongoing struggles. Current relationship challenges described as an Achilles heel because potential partners are intimidated by her success.
If it was just mindset and her mindset was fixed, that shouldn't still be happening.
Exactly. The high vibration didn't dissolve the external structural reality of dating while successful and female. Those constraints are still very much active. Proves it's not just energy.
Okay, so we've seen the structure, the pillars, and the cracks. How does this model stack up against other wealth philosophies? Context is key here.
Right, comparison helps build that mental immune system. We need to see where it fits.
The Sincero model's niche seems to be that blend, metaphysics plus action.
Specifically, coached action. That's important. Compared to the classic law of attraction, LOA.
LOA is more passive, right?
Yeah.
Focus, visualize, attract.
Generally, yes. Much more thought-focused. If it doesn't work, your thoughts weren't pure enough or you didn't believe hard enough.
Sincero's model demands you act, even when scared. That tear-citement thing.
Which, frankly, probably makes it more effective at getting people unstuck than just sitting and visualizing. It forces movement.
Okay, what about the prosperity gospel?
Key difference there is the source of the abundance. Prosperity gospel ties wealth directly to God's favor, divine worth, often linked to tithing.
Whereas Sincero's model is more secular. The universe responds to frequency and commitment, not necessarily religious piety.
Yeah, it's a transactional relationship with a sort of indifferent universe, not a deity.
So knowing these comparisons helps, but what are the better alternatives? If this energetic model has traps, what are safer, more robust ways to think about wealth?
We need alternative architectures, frameworks grounded in reality.
First up, the observatory model.
This is a fundamental shift. Stop seeing money as this magic crystal ball you use for manifesting.
See it instead as
a telescope, a tool for viewing economic systems.
Okay, I like that. So the goal isn't attracting money through vibes.
It's understanding and navigating, analyzing the systems, the markets, the policies. It's about critical thinking, not wishful thinking. Knowledge over vibration.
Makes sense. What's next?
The ecosystem model. This tackles the individualism of the energetic approach.
How so?
It replaces that simple scarcity-abundance binary with interdependence. You have to see your own financial health within the context of the collected economic health.
So getting rich while the system around you is collapsing isn't actually secure.
Not really. True. Sustainable security requires a healthy ecosystem, a stable system. It forces you to think beyond just your own energetic bubble.
I see. Shifts focus from purely personal effort to systemic well-being.
Exactly. And finally, the craftsmanship model.
Viewing money not as mystical energy, but as a tool.
A specific practical tool for building your life, like a hammer or a saw.
So the emphasis isn't on aligning your vibration with the tool.
It's on developing the skill to use the tool effectively. Financial literacy, competence, strategy, discipline practice. Like craftsmen learning their trade.
You don't hope the wood aligns with your vision. You learn how to measure, cut, and join it.
Precisely. You shape the outcome through skill and effort, not just energetic intention.
So the real question for you, the listener, becomes, which model do you trust? Invisible energy or observable skill and systemic understanding?
Now let's synthesize. To be fair, we have to acknowledge where this energetic framework does have strengths. It's not all bad.
No, absolutely. Intellectual honesty requires that. First, big strength. It can be incredibly empowering for overcoming self-sabotage.
Totally. For people whose main obstacle is that internal voice saying, I'm not worthy, I can't do this, this framework directly attacks that belief.
It forces a confrontation with those self-imposed limits.
Second strength, the action component, that tear-citement thing, doing scary things. It pushes people beyond just thinking and into doing.
Gets them off the couch, overcomes analysis paralysis, maybe.
Could do, yeah. It moves them past passive wishing.
And third, the personal story. It's relatable.
Very. Sharing the vulnerability, the debt, the desire for more. It connects emotionally in a way that, let's be honest, traditional financial planning often fails to do. Spreadsheets aren't inspiring.
True. It sells transformation through connection.
But, and this is a huge, but those strengths are primarily psychological. They aren't necessarily economic.
Which brings us to the contextual limitation, the big learner's warning. This framework isn't a universal fix.
Not at all. Who does it work best for?
Our analysis suggests middle-class folks, often with existing advantages, education, networks, maybe some access to credit.
But who are stuck psychologically. They have the means, or potential means, but lack the confidence or the internal permission slip.
For them, the mindset shift can unlock potential that was already there, structurally speaking.
Right. But who does it not work for? Or who could it actually harm?
People facing significant systemic disadvantages, generational poverty, discrimination, lack of access to basic opportunities or capital.
For someone in that situation, being told their problem is just a low vibration.
It's not just unhelpful, it's insulting. It's a way of ignoring their reality, a moral dodge.
It completely fails because it offers no tools for navigating the actual systemic barriers they face. It just blames their frequency.
That's the sound of the system protecting itself by blaming the individual.
So if this approach were to evolve, to become responsible, what would need to change? What's the required evolution?
First, mandatory integration of systemic awareness. You have to understand the economic map, not just your own mindset.
Can't navigate without a map.
Second, real financial literacy education. Not just consciousness, but competence. You need to know how to handle the money you manifest.
Avoid that delegation trap. Keep control.
And it needs to resolve its own internal contradictions. That anxiety about receiving wealth, the coach dependency, those need fixing for it to be truly empowering.
Move towards actual self-mastery, not perpetual external validation.
Okay, let's bring it home. We talked about Pillar 5, the selective media consumption, filtering out negativity.
Yes. Protecting the bubble.
This is where the real danger lies, isn't it? The potential for self-deception on a grand scale.
Because filtering negativity easily slides into filtering out necessary, critical information about the world, about reality.
If you only allow inputs that confirm your abundance frequency, you're deliberately blinding yourself.
Blinding yourself to the actual challenges, the systemic issues, the potential deceptions happening externally, you build yourself a very comfortable, very attractive cage.
The goal shouldn't be to filter out reality to protect your frequency.
The goal should be to sharpen your perception, to see the structure of reality, including the deceptions, and then act on that knowledge, not wish it away. And that's our deep dive for this week.
Remember, the most dangerous illusion is the one you don't know you're in.
But now you know. So here's our question for you. Where will you spot the energetic abundance deception playing out in the next 24 hours? In an influencer's post, a self-help ad, or even in your own internal dialogue? Once you see this pattern, you can't unsee it.
Let us know. Question the narrative, deconstruct the dogma, see the system.
We'll see you next time. Stay skeptical.